Hello, Heresy fans, and welcome to the channel. You know, I'm a big fan of narrative gaming. For me, it's one of the most entertaining and rewarding parts of the hobby. So imagine my joy when I was contacted out of the blue by an old mate of mine who said, "Jim, I've seen you're back in action on the Tube. How about joining in my new Heresy narrative campaign?" Well, Heresy fans, imagine, if you will, my keenness to get involved. "We need some traitors," he says, "and some mechanicum." "Well," I reply, "I can help you out there, old chap." Now, this is an escalation campaign starting at 1500 points and increasing by 500 each round to a nice, great big final clash. There's some other rules too, which I'll go through with the army, along with my tactical ravings. So, without further ado, here is my starting list for the war for the Marauders Pass. It's Traitor Mechanicum. The Emperor is not the Omnissiah. He's a very naughty boy. So here we go. The war for the Marauders Pass is about to begin, and here is 1500 points of Traitor Mechanicum. Now, the first thing you might notice is that there's not very many of them, which is a bit of a worry. I'm expecting the Legion lists they come up against to have a lot more stuff in them. But Mechanicum units are very durable. They have some very nasty weaponry, so hopefully they will be able to deal with those pesky Astartes. Right, let's go into a bit more detail of the list and the tactics that I have cooked up. Leading this army, we have the Warlord in the Crusade Primary Detachment. He is an Archmagos, and he is a Myrmidax as well. Now, I would have liked to have given this chap a bit more equipment, but we are very limited on points, so he's going to have to make do with a Power Fist, a Cyber Familiar, and because he is a Myrmidax, he has got the Fury of Ages Cyberthurgic Right. But there is something interesting in this campaign. It should be about developing your Warlord, and that means he gets a couple of upgrades to start with, and as the campaign goes on, he can get more. So the weakness of the Archmagos certainly isn't strength, toughness, or durability. It is weapon skill and attack. So what we've decided to do is upgrade both of those. He now has weapon skill 6 and 5 attacks to go with his toughness 6, 7 wounds because he's a Myrmidax. He's got a 2+ save, a 4+ invulnerable, and a 5+ feel no pain. Hopefully he will be quite a monster at chomping through elite Astartes units, maybe even defeating their champions in challenges. We'll have to see. And because he is a Myrmidax, he has, of course, got access to a specific Apex detachment. So for the Myrmidax Apex detachment, we have brought along a host of destruction. We have got some Myrmidon Secutors occupying a prime elite slot. Now, actually, in this campaign, the rules limit Myrmidons to no more than 5 per unit, so I've brought along all 5. They're pretty nasty. They've all got twin phased plasma fusils, which of course have breaching. And with the Archmagos, hopefully getting off his Cyberthurgic Right, they should have weapon skill 5 and ballistic skill 5. Hopefully they will do a lot of damage to the Astartes. It'll be interesting to see how these guys can cope with the elite Astartes assault units with their axes, but they are very, very tough. So fingers crossed. Also, because the Archmagos has the Comptroller rule and he is a Myrmidax, if he goes in with them, they will score bonus victory points for objectives. Now, they're certainly not very fast, so since they're in a prime slot, we have included a prime advantage, which is logistical benefit to take a Triaros armoured conveyor to carry them around. Unfortunately, it's not an assault vehicle, but it should allow them to get into position to unleash their firepower. And it's actually quite good. It's got 10 strength 6 shots coming out, and 6 of them come from the twin Mauler bolt cannon on top, which has pinning 2, which could be quite useful. Moving on, we are returning to the Crusade Primary Detachment, and we have a command choice. It is a Magos on an Abeyant. Because this is a 1500 point battle that's coming up, the Mechanicum will only get 1 reaction point. They have no Master of the Legion to give them another one, so by putting this chap on an Abeyant and giving him the Command Throne rule, hopefully that will give another reaction that the Mechanicum can use every turn, and it will probably going to be Return Fire or Overwatch, I would think. Now, in terms of his upgrades, again, we are very limited in terms of points. He's a Cybernetica, and we have given him a Cortex Controller and a Cyber Familiar, and that is about it. But hopefully his Command Throne rule will be very useful, and of course he has Officer of the Line too, which is going to allow us to bring a lot more into this army. He is also in a Prime slot, and we are taking another logistical benefit Prime advantage, which is a Castellax Destructor Maniple for him to command. They've all got Darkfire Cannon, which seem pretty nasty. Natural AP 2 damage if they're stationary, and Suppressive 2, which seems like it might be quite useful in a little army like this. I think the Mechanicum really are going to be trying to suppress their opponents to try and stop them scoring, and of course to reduce the incoming firepower. Castellax are tough themselves, and as this chap is a Cybernetica and he has a Cortex Controller, they can react, they can score objectives, and with the Controller rule, they get bonus points for doing so as well. Now, this Magos on his Abeyant is actually crucial to this army because he is going to go with the Castellax. He's going to allow them to score and react. He has also got Overcharge Reactors as a Cyberthergic right, so hopefully he will allow them to be a bit more accurate with their firepower, since their ballistic skill only starts at 3. And of course, he is going to allow the auxiliary detachments to be brought along, the first of which is Armoured Support. We have a detachment that contains 2 Krios Venators. With their pulsar fusils, they are the anti-tank firepower for this army at strength 9. The Darkfire Cannon on the Castellax at only strength 8, which means they're going to really struggle to deal with anything that is armor 14. So we are going to be relying on the Venators. And of course they get 4 shots when they're stationary at a flat 3 damage. It's pretty good. They also have Suppressive 2. So we've got Suppressive 2 with the Krios tank, Suppressive 2 with the Darkfire Cannon on the Castellax. Hopefully that will shut down a lot of opposing units and prevent them from scoring, which the Mechanicum are going to need because they are not a very large force. The second detachment that the Magos on Abeyant has brought along is a Tagmata cohort, and it is simple. We need some more bodies in this army. So he has brought along 6 Thalax. Now they seem pretty good. They're only 20 points each. Their gun has 3 strength 5 shots. They're quite fast. The only concern with them really is that they have quite low leadership, because I could not afford to upgrade any of them to Praetorians. But they are multi-wound, they have good saves, they're mobile. Let's see what they can do just to cover some board space really and help the rest of this army do what it intends to do, which is blast the Marines to bits at a distance, and once they close, chop them up. So there you have it. I think that this 1500 point Mechanicum army has got a lot of bases covered, despite being quite small. The only combat punch is the Archmagos and his Myrmidon bodyguards, but they are extremely tough, so we will see how they get on. Of course, the Archmagos has Battlesmith, he can repair the tanks. The Magos on Abeyant has Battlesmith, he can repair the tanks, the Castellax. Because we're going to be using Cyberthergic rights, it's a bit concerning that a lot of wounds are going to be inflicted in using them, but hopefully the 2 Magoses, or Magi is it, are going to be able to keep their guys in action. One reaction point is a bit of a concern as well, but we should get another one from the Command Throne, hopefully, if he passes the checks. And there is a lot of tactical status potential for this army. The Mauler Bolt Cannon on the Triaros has pinning 2. The lightning guns on the Thalax have suppressive. And of course, the Darkfire Cannon and the Pulsar Fusils on the Krios Venators have suppressive 2. So potentially a lot of statuses which should help out the Mechanicum. Now, I have just learned that my first opponent is going to be Dark Angels. we'll see how we get on against them, because I'm expecting them to be quite mobile and quite aggressive with a lot of close assault punch. So I'm off to have recurring nightmares about Deathwing Companions and Inner Circle Knights Cenobium smashing my poor mechanical men to pieces with Thunderhammers. And until then, I will just say, thank you very much for watching. Please give us a couple of cheeky little clicks on like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon.